To get really good at business, you need to be like a Swiss Army knife, a jack of all trades with a special skill that separates you from the rest of the pack. How do you learn that super skill and what steps to take? Those are the questions I'm going to answer in today's video. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Erkka Suvanto. Some of you call me EJ. I'm the guy who's on social media, building a legacy for my kids and passing on all the business and life lessons to each and every one of you. I want to show you what it took me to build all my companies up to 5 million level all by myself so that you don't need to make the same mistakes. What makes life more difficult for people is the judgment we put on ourselves regarding things that we should have done or are supposed to do in our own opinion going forward. And those are just the things that we have in our own head. It's not the outside world that sets the tone, but it's our own expectations as far as what we think people expect from us. For so many years, I was trying to be a family guy, a gym guy, and a business guy all at the same time, juggling all these three priorities. And if we think about where anxiety comes from, it's about having several options but not knowing what to prioritize. So many things we could do and we want to get better at, but we have no direction. We are running around like headless chickens in a dark forest. But once we get clarity, once we know how to say no to those things that are of lesser priority and prioritize only one thing at a time, we all of a sudden have direction. The reason why I didn't want to prioritize family over business or gym over something else was the fact that I didn't know what it takes to maintain a skill versus growing a skill. I was desperately trying to get better at something. And it's the same as trying to be a 4 out of 10 on all those three areas. So if you draw it on the whiteboard. So for me, my priorities were gym, business, and family, all at the same time. Desperately, because of my own personal insecurities and weaknesses, trying to be as good as possible on all three. Not really understanding the difference between maintaining a skill and growing a skill. Because it doesn't make any sense for me to be a 4 out of 10 versus 1 out of 10 on a skill, because the progress I'm making is pretty much the same. So let's draw it. So here's what I was trying to do. I was keeping all these priorities at the same level. So in theory and also in practice, I was a 4 out of 10 on all three. Effort level. 10 being maximum, 1 being the lowest possible. Since we have to split our time, which is always limited between three, we can't really reach 9 or 10 out of 10 on any of them, which means that we are making zero progress. This is what happened to me. What I should have understood is that I should have dropped down 2 of these 3 down to, let's say it's gym and business, down to 1 out of 10, which is basically the same as maintaining a skill, and ramping up my family priority up to 10 out of 10. But since I didn't understand the concept of maintaining a skill and growing it, or understanding a long enough time horizon that is required to be really good at all three, because it's not a matter of giving up on these two if I prioritize this first. I was so anxious to get better at all three at the same time that I was just trying to do it all simultaneously. So this is what I did, but this is what I should have done. And then here's the secret. Once I've done this for X number of years, or whatever my time horizon is, then I switch the priorities. So then this is now in a growth mode with 10 out of 10. But then I flip-flop them. Then all of a sudden this becomes a lesser priority. Let's say when my kids are older and they don't require that much attention and time from me anymore. And then I switch all of my focus to either one of these, a gym guy or a business guy. But trying to be perfect, impeccable on all three simultaneously is impossible. I was stubborn. I had to learn it the hard way. And I believe this was one of the reasons, if we think about my entrepreneurial journey, growing all three companies up to 5 million level, but deciding to stay solo, not hire employees, keeping my business operations very simple. Maybe subconsciously I understood that I don't have the capacity to put or ramp this 4 up to 7, 8, 9, or 10 that is really required to make this a world-class business, an asset that once, sometime in the future, can be sold. Now it just remained relatively small. Well, is 4 or 5 million annual revenue small? I don't know, but it is small compared to something that is a sellable asset. This is something that took me forever to realize, and this is why I'm here, so that I can teach you guys how to be better. And when you grow your business, you understand different priorities. That you're not giving up on your muscles or your gym side of the equation if you decide to put this on the back burner for a little bit. And right now, if I think about all my 31 years at the gym, it's like bread and butter to me to know that if I want to grow my calves or my hamstrings, I need to prioritize them. So that means that I do less chest, back, arms, delts, and I prioritize my legs, in this case hamstrings and calves. I train them maybe 3 or 4 times a week, balancing recovery and muscle stimulus. I could have just looked at myself and the learnings and lessons from the gym world, from the fitness world, to understand that these 3 can be done differently. But like I said, I wasn't mature enough in the beginning to understand this. And now I know better and you know better, because there are people, coaches like me and other people teaching you what to do. You can live multiple lifetimes of lessons if you listen to the right people without the scars, because you listen to them, you're coachable. I wasn't. There's nothing more anxiety triggering than just the desire to get better, that ambition to grab many different things simultaneously and just get better, because you don't know at what and how to do it. It's called general ambition, and that only triggers anxiety. So 2 different things here. General ambition equals anxiety. So what's the solution? It's called specific ambition. And that's the same as direction. Coming back to my original example about being a family guy, gym guy, and a business guy simultaneously. A lot of anxiety. Why can't I make enough progress on any of these? I have this huge internal drive or energy to really get good at all of these areas. Why can't I make enough progress? Because all I had was general ambition, and it induces or triggers anxiety. Once I learn how to say no to the other 2 and channel all my focus and energy on that one, and I ramp up my effort up to 10 out of 10 and put everything else on maintain mode, then that's when I start making progress. So coming back to the original question about how to be the jack of all trades, like a Swiss Army knife, with a super skill that you need to separate you from the rest of the pack, the answer is this. You learn how to say no, and that's how you get specific ambition and direction. But saying no is really the hard part, because we oftentimes have insecurities, weaknesses internally that we need to tackle first. Be comfortable with the idea that it takes longer. Because like I said, you can be all 3. You can be a family guy, you can be a business guy, and you can be a gym guy. But you can't be all of these in 1 year. It's the same as somebody saying to me that I want you to gain 20 pounds of muscle in 1 month. I would say it's impossible. But what if we extend the time horizon and say, well, I'll give you 10 years. Well, all of a sudden, it's only 2 pounds a year. Well, that's doable. I've done it. Everybody can do it. You extend the time horizon and you start prioritizing. And then in a matter of years, maybe the time horizon is 10 years. Then that's how you are 10 out of 10 on all 3. But if you're forever a 4 out of 10 on all these 3, then you will be a 4 out of 10 after that 10-year period. But if I learn how to prioritize, I say no to everything else, or put business and gym on maintain mode and put family on the pedestal, that becomes my 10 out of 10 until I can switch my focus to something else. Then I have a really good chance of being a 10 out of 10 person at the end of that 10-year period. But I need to be realistic with the time horizon. But it all starts with specific ambition, which gives me direction. Then I understand that at some point I need to switch my focus. And again, I learn how to say no, and I keep going. And these are the steps to get started on this. It all starts with number one, which is know where you are. Where are you? This is your self-awareness step. Number two, what's my goal? And what are the priorities? This is where it gets harder. If my goal is to be a gym guy, family guy, and a business guy, what's the priority order? Number three, define your season. What's the realistic time horizon? Usually seasons last 5 to 7 years, at least based on my professional opinion, sometimes up to 10 years. If the skill to learn is hard or new craft, I would start with 5 to 7 years. Define your season. Start working. And then 5, switch. This is the same as maintain versus grow. Quite simple. All start with self-awareness, like everything that we have always covered. Next, define your goal and your priorities. Which one of the 3, 4, or 5 skills that you want to learn comes first. Define your season. Understand whether it's in 5 years that I want to reach a certain level regarding these and these skills. And then you just start executing, and you say no to others as part of the execution. And then when you reach your desired skill level, then you switch from maintain to growth. Quite simple. It's not simple in practice, but it all starts with theory and understanding that this is what we need to do to get really good. So you don't want to be like me, being a 4 out of 10 forever, until you understand what you need to do to start saying no and prioritizing. It's never too late, but it took me long to understand. Now I know how to say no better, and I know what it takes to be really, really good at something. And that is 10 out of 10 for a very long period of time. And understanding that I have to put everything else on maintenance mode. Gym is hard for me. It's really, really hard. My kids are always my number one priority. But saying no to gym and scaling that back down while growing my business, because this is what I'm doing right now. I'm prioritizing gym or business depending on the season I'm in. Right now, actually, I'm in a growth mode when it comes to business, and I'm putting my gym, believe it or not, more on the back burner, which is super hard for me mentally. I need to learn how to say no all the time so that I don't do cardio on those off days, so that whenever I'm not lifting weights, I'm actually focusing my business on those days 100%. And this seems to be working right now, but I'm constantly questioning myself and my methods. So it's just a reminder to me and everybody that this is hard. It's super hard, but it all starts with self-awareness, understanding of what it takes. When I was 30 or 35, I had no clue what a priority order was. If somebody had told me that, yeah, you have to be 1 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 on this, so that you can be really good at something else and say no, I was like, no, I know how to do it. Just I'll show you. I was stubborn. It's okay, as long as you accept the fact afterwards that this was a lesson. It's an epic story in the end, and then you can talk about it. But you have to live through that. And now I can walk the talk since I've gone through that period of time in my life. That was a season when I didn't know how to do it. Now I can talk about it since I was able to go through that, and I drew my lessons, and now I'm sharing those lessons with everybody. So that's how this process works. This was all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I thank you for watching all my videos, including this one. If you like what I'm producing, please hit the subscribe and like buttons. I would highly appreciate that. And again, all comments are welcome. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.